Buffs Nation, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a great day. Excited, man. We got another guy coming here from SEC country that's going to help this defense. Quency Wiggins. And this player is very interesting because he's one of those high ceiling developmental guys brought in, and we're still waiting for him to kind of reach that ceiling, reach that potential. But this is a guy that people expected would take a little bit, hasn't gotten on the field much at all. I think about 50 career snaps at LSU over the first 2 years, but has a high ceiling. We're talking about a 7 foot wingspan. We're talking about a 6'6, 265-pound edge. We're talking about the number 48th ranked player on 24/7 in 2022, number one player in the state of Louisiana, staying home, going to LSU last 2 years, and a top 10 rated defensive lineman by 24/7. Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. And this was a guy on 24/7 that was projected, that projects rather, to be a second round draft pick in the NFL, to be an NFL player. Um, we'll take a look at his tape here in just a minute. Some of his high school tapes, you can kind of just see how physically and athletically gifted he is. But guys, in the small spurts that he's played in, granted, it hasn't been against the best competition at LSU. I think he played against Georgia State, Grambling, and Army. But for what it's worth, graded out higher than Jordan Dominic, who was our best graded, highest graded player. Now, again, Pro Football Focus does not tell the entire story. And again, Jordan Dominic faced much better competition here in the Pac-12 than Quency Wiggins did against those opponents. So take that with a grain of salt, but thought I'd show you guys here really quick uh, just a little bit about how Pro Football Focus was grading him. You can see his game grades right here. Maybe I can zoom in. Maybe that will help you. Oops, a little bit, but again, graded out tackling 71.1. You love that. Okay, 2 tackles, wonderful. Defense rated 69.9. I think Jordan Dominic it was at like a 71.5. I think Jordan Dominic was at like a 68 or something like that. So or maybe 69.2, 67.2, something like that. But this is a guy who should develop into an all-around edge defender that's able to hold the contain on outside run plays, that's able to rush the passer. Um, very strong in the pass game as well as the run game, and with that wingspan, should be able to bat down balls. Has yet to have a batted down ball. Um, Now this is kind of interesting. Played only 16 snaps this past year. In his freshman year, played 37. Um, so make of that what you want. We got some guys that are coming here or that have come here in the past. Let's talk about. Well, I guess in a negative case, Savell Smalls, a 5-star rated guy that doesn't have a career sack coming out here. Hopefully, a change of scenery was going to be something that was beneficial for him. I didn't really see him on the field much at all. But then we got other guys who are coming out here, such as Zay Weaver, right? Who had some pretty decent numbers, but needed to level up in competition to get to have that highest draft grade as possible. And you see him take that next jump being here. So again, if you go look at his profile on 24/7, rated a 4-star, 97 overall. Again, this is a top 50 player from a couple years ago. Big time potential, big time upside. Okay. Can he recapture that momentum coming here? I would love to find out. Absolutely. But let's take a look at a little bit of his tape. I think you guys will enjoy this. And you'll see him kind of lined up against the right tackle most of the time or the right guard. You see him blowing up that play right there. I mean, it's just wonderful stuff. We don't have anybody right now in our defensive line room or our front seven room that has a 7 foot wingspan. Look how much larger he is than all these other guys. This is impressive stuff. Number 1 player in Louisiana, don't forget it, 6'6", 265 pounds now. What I also thought was interesting in the scouting report from 24/7 coming out of high school is that they said that he would need to add bulk onto his frame, that 6'5" frame. He's now 6'6", but still around that 265 mark from what I see. So I find that kinda interesting. He's been at LSU for a couple years, hasn't really put on the weight scouts expected him to. But, I mean, you can see he's just an overall athlete. Actually was mainly a basketball player and then has only recently, um, from when this happened, from when he was scouted, had started playing football. So this is a raw player that hasn't played football for very long, going to a school like LSU to develop, to take that next step. Again, the number 1 rated player in his state stays home at LSU. And is some of this, or the reason why he was ranked so high, is maybe because of his big time upside and potential, because the athlete, his physical gifts that he has? I'm sure that's part of it. Okay, this is a raw football player that has not played football for a very long time, and it doesn't surprise me when you haven't played football for, for a very long time or anything like that, only a short amount of time, why it might be a little bit slow for you getting onto the field at a place like LSU, okay? But I like how he plays. I like his attitude. I like, sometimes you'll see him after the play, like on one of these plays, he pushed the quarterback down. You'd see him, man, he just wraps up, but he plays with an attitude. I think he can play with a nice little mean streak. I think he, from this high school tape, um, going through, I think it's like a 10, 11-minute tape. I think he does need to work on his motor a bit, making sure that he's chasing guys down, with pass plays and whatnot. Still moving, still moving, still moving. But we don't have anybody on that edge room that's 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan. So if Warren Sapp, Sal Sunseri, the rest of those guys, Coach Dancy, they're able to develop him. We have on the making. We have a potential star. But again, he's going to have to prove it. He's going to have to put in the work. He's going to, have to make sure he's dieting correctly, all of that. Sometimes a change of scenery is just what this, a player needs in order to be successful. Just take a look at Joe Burrow, for instance. I mean, he was some guy that couldn't get on to, the Buckeyes. And the change of scenery serves him well at LSU, and then he's the first overall pick. So, not to say this can't be done, okay? This is a player with a very high potential. Um, Now, will he realize it? I don't know, but I'm glad the potential payoff. I just see this as a low risk, high reward type of thing. The potential payoff for this is absolutely massive. So, again, we're bringing better, more high potential guys this round of the portal season compared to last year. We're getting better players. This defense is going to continue to stack up and improve, and I can't wait to see what happens next. Give me your thoughts on Quency Wiggins. This is a very interesting player, like I have said. Might be a player that some of us feel very differently on. I want to know your thoughts. Thanks for sticking around, and as always, y'all, Sco Buffs.